Monday morning feels so bad. Everybody seems to nag me. Coming Tuesday, I feel better. Even my old man looks good. Wednesdays just don't go. Thursdays go too slow. I've got Friday comics on my mind. Hey there, comic friends. I'm Travis, and it is my new comic book day, Friday. All my books come in on Friday. This week, it is a small pile of 23 issues. I say small because it seems like here lately they've been like 30, which is ridiculous. So we'll jump right into it. I've got this, and I've got a few back issues that I got from some friends. So we'll talk this first. 23 issues. What do we got right off the bat? Hellboy issue. What is this? Issue number 2 of Black Sun. So always enjoy the Hellboy stuff. Lots of fun. So we'll see where it goes. I like this ongoing saga. I hope they don't just keep jumping year to year, though. I hope they kind of hang around in some of these years, because otherwise we're going to run out of years at some point. Other than Hellboy in the 60s would be kind of sweet, I think. Especially if they can find somebody to give kind of a 60s kind of a vibe on top of it. That would be a lot of fun. Lucifer, issue number 11. And I believe this is the beginning of our new writer on the book, I think. So we'll see. We'll see where the new writer takes it in this new heaven and hell that has been started in the book. I am really enjoying this. One of the few Vertigo books to still be around from that initial push last October, November, and December when they released all those books. So, Hell on Earth. BPRD Hell on Earth. This is 146. We are rolling into the end. We'll see what happens. It's been really, really cool story up to this point. Lawrence Campbell's been nailing the art. We've got the Titans from Hell that have risen up to destroy the massive creatures that are taking over Earth. But at what cost? You know, they've actually literally have beings from Hell have risen to take over. And what's going to be the cost of that afterwards? It'll be really interesting. Really cool. And I'm confused. I continue to be confused on the whole BPRD Magnolia universe kind of a thing. You know, he's supposedly not doing books, but I saw some announcements of some things that will be coming out in either February or March of next year that do more Hellboy stuff and more of kind of the prehistory, as it were, of this era. So I'm just not 100% sure exactly what's going on there. I mean, it felt like Magnolia was getting away from comic books, but maybe not really. Maybe it's more about him not doing a comic book solely himself anymore. I don't know. So, Justice League issue number 7. This is State of Fear. I think this is the second issue of the State of Fear. I'm going to have this whole brawl between Batman and Superman, supposedly. I don't know if that's what we'll actually see or not. But I've been enjoying it. This first issue of this arc was a little bit weird, the way some of the characters are acting. But, you know, they're in fear, and when you're in fear, you do all kinds of weird stuff. So we'll see what happens. I am still enjoying the Justice League book. Nightwing, new arc starts here. Rise of Raptor, part 1. We're looking forward to this. I think this is where Nightwing realizes that he has been duped by Raptor, the last arc that of this book that wasn't tied into the Monster Men stuff. So really, really enjoy Fernandez's art. I don't know where that artist has been hiding at as far as stuff, but his stuff on Nightwing has been absolutely on fire. Really been enjoying it. Looks like we're gonna get some history here. With Grayson, you've got the Graysons there. You know, over here you got Speedy, and back when he was Robin. You know, clearly the relationship with Barbara there. So, and a whole bunch of other stuff around. So, yeah, could be cool. See what happens. Seeing how the last thing we saw Raptor having a conversation with Nightwing as he was diving out of this building is that he knew Nightwing's mom, and of course anything that has to do with that family is always of interest to him. Next up we have Black Widow. No More Secrets. This is issue number 1, because of course they renumbered the dang thing. Marvel Now. Well, actually, no, it's not number 1. It says number 1 there, but really it's actually number 7. So figure that out, you people who are buying this after the fact, and you go to your dollar bins or whatever. But I've been loving Black Widow. Sam Neill is just is firing all points in this. I really think that he drives the story here. His art is just magnificent, and I've really been enjoying it. I've really been enjoying this whole Black Widow. This kind of stuff that's coming out of her past, and they're trying to take care of that and whatnot has been really enjoyable. Really been enjoying it. Excellent Marvel book. Next up we have Raven. This is issue number 2. I really love that cover. That is a cool cover. I enjoyed the first issue of Raven quite a bit. It didn't have so much ting angst that made it over the top. I'm really excited about the fact that Marv Wolfman's writing it, and he's writing it as a contemporary book. It doesn't. Some of these creators from the mid '80s and stuff that were like people I really enjoyed reading them now. They're still writing like that, and writing techniques and storytelling has gotten better, I believe, in the comic craft over the years. So I'm excited to see that he has maintained that. So I'm really curious to see where this goes. I said that cover is just really cool. So first issue was great. I'm excited about the second issue. And as always, Spider-Woman. This is issue number 12. Super looking forward to reading this. Always have enjoyed Spider-Woman. Now we are done. No Civil War II title on there anyway. Don't know what the after effects of that are going to be, if we're going to see any more of that. Just excited to see this. Get some more Porcupine in there. Maybe your kid will be in it. I just want to know what's next. What's next for them? They go back to the detective work that they were doing with Ben Urich, or what? But just really another book that I deeply love. And a Marvel book. I read lots of DC, but you know what? The Marvel books that I do read, I really enjoy. They're not marginal by any means. Superman, issue number 9, Escape from Dinosaur Island. This is the second in that arc. As always, loving the Superman book. One of the shockers of the Rebirth, kind of, other than the creators with Tomasi and Gleason on it. Of course, I'm always a fan of their stuff. So yeah. Enjoyed the first issue of the dinosaur Escape from Dinosaur Island thing. Looking forward to this too. Anything that's going to have big, giant dinosaurs, them fighting and whatnot, should just be a lot of fun, right? Next up, we have Trinity, issue number 2. Really cool cover. I enjoyed the first issue of Trinity. I'm curious to see where Francis Manapul goes with this. He's the only person that's credited on the cover. So it's all him. I'm assuming he didn't letter it though. Somebody on the inside, will be credits for that. But anyway, looking forward to seeing what he does with this. How far can he take a story? How good of a writer is Francis Manapul besides these gorgeous shots? It can look pretty, but it's still got to tell a story. So we'll see. The final issue of Bunker. Bunker issue number 19. Bummer that this ended. I think there could have been a lot more to this. Just probably the sales weren't exactly where they wanted them at. Really enjoy the book. I think it's really interesting, really intriguing. The idea of potential time travel, going back and trying to fix your mistakes that are on a kind of a global level, kind of mistakes and stuff. Really curious to see how this ends, because these last 6 issues or so, there's been a lot of betrayal and a lot of, I didn't realize that was going on, and that sort of thing. So looking forward to seeing how it all ends. Really like the artist on this, the Joe Infarina, I believe is how you say their name. Just the pencil work, the stylized look of it. Just a different kind of a look than most books, and so I enjoy it for that also. Hadrian's Wall, issue number 2. Really liked the first issue of it. So I am looking forward to seeing how number 2 is. I'm not a big fan of that cover. I'll have to look at it closer because I'm curious to see what all it says in there. But it's an autopsy file. Yeah, whatever. But I really like the art inside. First issue was good story-wise, so curious to see where where they take it. The creators of Cowl doing that. Next up, we have Green Arrow, issue number 9, Island of Scars. Trying to figure out what that big... Oh, it's an arrowhead. I'm like, what is that W? But it's actually a big, giant broadhead. Yeah, we'll see. I am enjoying the island stuff so far. Lots of Black Canary and Green Arrow having a good time. Now they've discovered there's other stuff on the island. Might be some concerns for some other stuff. So curious to see what that story is and whatnot. Been enjoying Green Arrow. This issue's got a different artist on it though. It's got Byron instead of Otto Schmidt, who did the last issue. So that's curious because we hadn't had a jumping around of art up until this issue. So that I'm not excited about. I think maybe Byron did the art on that little other story we had with Green Arrow's sister. So I don't know. Like I said, not excited by that. Really like Otto Schmidt's art and Juan Ferrera's art. So need to do some looking around to see what that's about. Anyway, issue number 4 of Faith, and it is Faith, Fighting Faith. And I'm excited to read this. It's going to be a lot of fun. The last issue she was at a con. She ends up going after this guy. He has something happens, and there's a reproduction, and there's a second Fate there. So, and Archer, her date for this con, has been left with the task of, okay, Archer, I know you can pick out the real one of us. You have to do it. And I don't know. To me, it just struck me as being kind of... Archer is kind of socially awkward anyway. And then to be stuck in a position of basically the equivalent of that whole, does this outfit make my butt look big? Or all those questions that the guys stereotypically and comedically get asked, of them from their wives or girlfriends. He's kind of put in that position here where it's like, well, clearly you're going to know which one of us is the real one. And then they're identical, so I don't know how you know that. And he's screwed. Whoever he picks, he's going to be in trouble. So looking forward to seeing how that comedy of errors turns out in that. So it'd be fun. Cyborg issue number 3. We'll see where the story goes. It's been okay. Looks like Darkseid on the cover there. So we'll see what that's about. And this issue, and I think the next issue, are going to cement for me whether I keep picking this up or not. It's actually in a block of books that right now I'm enjoying most of the books in, as far as my discount comic book service discount. But if I get enough of them, this is 2 issues, right? I get them at 50% in that block. If I drop the block, then the books that are in that block are only at 40%. So the last time I looked, it still seemed like it was worth it to do that. But this is 2 of the books, like I said, they're in that block. So I don't know. Starting to weigh the price versus how much am I enjoying this because of how big my stacks of books are getting. 23 is now like an average week for me. It used to be a year ago, an average week for me was, 13 to 15 was started getting heavy. So I don't know. I love my comic books, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I'm about to sneeze. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, hopefully I cut the mic out so you didn't get to hear that. Excuse me. At any rate, on to the comics. Cave Carson, issue number 1. Super stoked by this book. About getting this book. The Young Animal stuff so far has just been a lot of fun and really, really good. The internet's been mumbling about this being good too. I only picked up the main cover, which I dig. There are 2 variant covers for this first issue anyway that are pretty awesome also. Just really looking forward to checking it out. Love the title alone. Cave Carson has a cybernetic eye. It's just a brilliant title. That alone tickles some fancy bones, some fancy bones for me. Looking at this cover now, clearly I can see that there's all the Challengers of the Unknown stuff that might be in there and whatnot. So I'm just really excited to see what's going on with that, and what kind of things can be explored. This book actually has Gerard Way on helping write it along with Jonathan Rivera, and the art is by Michael Avon Oeming with Nick Flaherty doing the colors. Oeming does art on like Powers. He's one of the creators of Powers. For everybody who's familiar with that. Yeah, so I mean, he's got kind of a cool, kind of a unique style that is his own. But yeah, this is the other book that literally Way has himself credited on. The other two books from the Young Animals, he isn't credited on. Just being part of spearheading the whole imprint as it is. Another book I'm really excited to get to read, Black Hammer. This is issue number 4. Dean Orstman's art has just been outstanding in this book. Super glad that Lemire held off on doing this book until he was healthy and able to do the work, because it's just been great. Loved every issue of this. It harkens back to some really kind of cool Golden Age things, but gives them kind of a modern looking at those kinds of aspects and whatnot. And each issue's kind of dabbled into the different characters that are here. So we're kind of getting their background, along with a little bit of the actual overarching plot in it. But I've really been enjoying that. It makes for a good long story, and I'm really liking that. Okay, so next up we have issue 9 of Batman. This is the first part of the I Am Suicide. Batman standing classically on the gates of Arkham Asylum. We'll see where the story goes. I'm hoping this story is more King driven than what it felt like the first issues of this leading into the Monster Man thing, where it kind of felt like it was all just set up for the Monster Man stuff. So we'll see what this is like. Janen's on art. I love Janen's artwork. The latest thing that Janen has been doing is, of course, he did most of the Grayson work, and I just really think he's brilliant for that. So yeah, I'm excited about that aspect of it. I'm hoping we're going to get more of a story out of this. My understanding kind of is that Batman is going to gather his own Suicide Squad, and he's pulling it from Arkham Asylum. That all could be interesting. Really like that cover. Of course, love those purples. Always a sucker for that. Astro City number 40. Really been enjoying the Astro City here lately. Some Hangman. Started a Hangman arc. Hangman's a character that I've always kind of been interested in. I love the way he looks, the way he's portrayed in the comic and stuff. So looking forward to seeing what comes on with that. Which is awesome. A book from last week that the Discount Comic Book Service didn't get all their copies of. So super excited to finally get issue 11 of Sheriff of Babylon. Sergeant America, if you're out there, I will be talking with you about Sheriff of Babylon before the show on Saturday, I am sure. Issue 11, the penultimate issue for season 1 of Sheriff of Babylon. Super excited. Going to be really cool. I know it has been all the way along. Suicide Squad's Most Wanted, El Diablo, and Killer Croc. That's an interesting cover. That cover is very Mignola-esque. Now I'm wondering if it's Oeming, Michael Avon Oeming, that did that cover. I'll have to check that out. So yes, this is the beginning of this is issue number 3 of 6 of a miniseries having to do with El Diablo, and then we get these kind of backstories of different characters that last a couple issues, it looks like, and then it's done. The El Diablo story has actually been really interesting. I'm not a huge fan of El Diablo or know lots about him, but I've really been enjoying this whole story that's in here. And of course, I've always did Killer Croc, so looking forward to seeing what we get for a Killer Croc story. Right now, I'm trying to find where the credits are so I know who did the cover. Oh no, cover art was by Michael Huddleston. Yeah, it just looks kind of like the other people's work there. So anyway, It's been enjoyable. It's been kind of fun. It's way better than the actual Suicide Squad book. That just hasn't been good at all, in my opinion. The backups have been okay, but the main thing hasn't. I don't know if that's because it's Jim Lee driven art, and then the poor writer has to write around whatever Jim Lee gives him. I'm not sure. Anyway, next up we have Spell on Wheels. This is issue number 1, Dark Horse comic. I decided I wanted to check this out. It is basically a group of witches, spellcasters on a road trip. Why they're on a road trip, I don't know exactly. They're on Interstate 90 going east, it looks like. Yeah, we'll see what this ends being like. Kate Lath is writing it. Megan Levins is on art. I believe that Marissa Lois is the colorist. And we'll see. We'll see what this is like. It is a mini-series. I think it's like 1 of 5, I want to say. So, something new, something different. Thought I'd check it out. And finally, this week, as far as new comics that I got, issue 15 of Rumble. Look at that brilliant cover of Wrath dropping down onto his next latest victims. Really love the art. James Herron art, and this is always brilliant. Story is good also. Some great dialogue and some good characterization in places. Mostly for me, it's about the art. There's this greater story that we kind of scratch the surface at a lot. It is, like I said, dynamic art, and as far as the storytelling itself, long haul as far as that goes. So that is it for my new books. I also wanted to show off some books that I got. Terrence, Comic Crack, great guy. Came across some books. I have been mumbling about. I've been mumbling about the fact that reading Shade the Changing Man, that I didn't have the first volume of Shade the Changing Man, and I guess up in Canada where he is at, it's hanging on trees. It's just all over the place. So yeah, he sent me the Shade Changing Man, the first volume, all 8 issues of it, which is awesome. I haven't gotten to crack this open yet, but I'm very much looking forward to it. Very much looking forward to checking out the Steve Ditko art and Steve Ditko driven story, and seeing what that is actually like. I guess I'm just really curious to find out how much of this story was incorporated in the second volume, which is of course what I read, and now I'm reading the third volume that is out now. How much of this zaniness, the meta vest, all that stuff, how much of that is cemented in the modern tellings of the book. So very appreciative, awesome of Terrence to do this for me. Hopefully someday I can reciprocate in some fashion. I don't live in a comic book mecca that Canada seems to be. Canada seems to be this comic book mecca from talking with, Johnny DaCosta. If you checked out his channel, clearly these guys live in all Canada, because they don't all live in the same place. It just seems to be a comic book mecca as far as back issues go. I'm extremely jealous. One more reason, if the wrong candidate is elected president here in the United States, for me to, quote unquote, pack up and move to Canada, right? Anyway, we'll be on Comic Book Roundtable Saturday, the usual time, 6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern time, or thereabouts, of course. And we'll be talking some of these books that I read. And this week with less comics, hopefully I will get to actually talking about doing my own video outside of Comic Book Roundtable to talk about some of these books. I kind of keep saying I'm going to do that, and I haven't gotten to it. Last week was a bit of a challenge, quite honestly. This morning, I just finished reading the rest of last week's books because I had 30-plus books. So we'll... hopefully I'll get to those. It'll probably just be me. The Disability Voice has gotten behind on reading books again, and with as many as I'm getting, once you're behind, it's a challenge to catch back up, right? So we'll see. Hopefully I'll be doing that too. But anyway, hopefully you all had awesome comic book weeks also. And until next time, have a great one, everybody.